Hello, I'm Cherie, Yanek, Churchill School Librarian, and I'm really excited to share with you a book called Flower Talk: How Plants Use Color to Communicate. This is written by Sara, Levine, and illustrated by Masha, and this is a Cook Award nominee. And this book I like because I think the illustrations are absolutely beautiful, and it tells a nonfiction story in a really interesting way, which is sometimes kind of hard because sometimes when we have nonfiction books, they're not great books to be read as, but this one's pretty interesting. And the pictures, it's just absolutely gorgeous watercolors. Let's see. Hey, you. Psst, down here. That's right, I'm a plant, and I'm talking to you. But don't get too used to it. We don't make a habit of talking to humans. I want to clear up some of your crazy ideas about what the colors of our flowers mean. We sit here growing, minding our own business, while you guys go on about how red roses stand for love, and white ones are good for weddings, and all kinds of mushy, ridiculous stuff. What a load of fertilizer. We're not using flowers to send information to you, so butt out, okay? We use our flowers to talk to the animals. Why? We need some help down here. What would you do if your legs were stuck in the ground for your entire life? How would you eat? How would you drink? How would you get your pajamas on? Now that, I think, is a really important question. I don't know how you would get your pajamas. We can take care of some things ourselves. We get our food with help from the sun, and when it rains, our roots slurp up water. But we need help making our seeds, our babies. What's more important than that? Without seeds, there'd be no more plants. We'd be finished, kaput. To make a seed, we need pollen from a different plant of our same type. How do we get that? We can't just waltz over and take some. That's why we need animals. Here's what we do. We trick them into carrying it for us. We be nice about it, though. We pay them a little something for their efforts. Well, usually. How do we get them to help? We advertise. We hold up big signs. Our flowers are the signs. They say, come on over. We have a special treat for you. I don't think it's quite so literal, but let's see what the flowers say. And believe me, they come. Why wouldn't they? Especially if they're hungry. If we're in luck, they'll bring along some pollen from a flower they visited earlier. Do they know they were doing this? Who knows? And who cares? It works and everybody's happy. So what's the deal with colors? And I love this page. I absolutely love the art. And it's just gorgeous. I haven't definitely seen as many blue flowers, but I really like this one. A flower's color invites specific animals to visit. You seem like a bright kid, so I'm going to let you in on the conversation. Then maybe you could do me a favor and tell the other humans about it, okay? Red flowers are usually talking to birds. The red flower's message is a top secret one for birds only. Most other pollinators are insects, and they can't see the color red. I didn't know that, so that's why I love this book too. I'm learning lots of new things. A red flower says, hey, hummingbird, over here. Carry my pollen, and I'll give you a sip of nectar. By the way, red flowers don't have much of an odor. Birds have a horrible sense of smell, so why bother making a perfume for them? Science is pretty smart, right? I think so. Blue and purple flowers talk to bees. Bees need flower pollen to feed their babies. They have special pockets on their legs to carry it home to their young. But some pollen always gets stuck on their bodies and passed to the next flowers they visit. Blue and purple flowers are saying, yo, bee, could you help me move some of this pollen and take some home for the kids? See, we can be thoughtful too. Yellow flowers are also talking to bees. Bees are our top helpers. I heard that scientists just figured out that bees have 3 favorite colors: blue, purple, and yellow. Took you guys long enough. We've known this for ages. That's why so many of us make flowers in these colors. We like the reliable help. Just take a moment and think about some of your favorite flowers. So right behind me, I have some lilacs. Lilacs are purple. Very often they are other colors as well, but they're purple. I could think of sunflowers being yellow. Black-eyed daisies are yellow. I can't think of too many blue flowers other than hydrangea, but take a moment and just think about some flowers and some plants that you could think of that come in those colors. Here's what a yellow flower says. Bees, bargain basement this way, free food. Some white flowers talk to moths and bats. Moths and bats fly mostly at night, and when it's dark outside, what color shows up best? White, of course. White flowers are like giant signs that say, hey, come get your free nectar here. White flowers also put out perfume as an extra guide to help these animals find them. Frankly, I don't care for it myself, but I guess to a moth or a bat, it smells pretty good. Brown flowers often talk to flies. Brown flowers, we don't really think about flowers being brown very much, but I guess they are, right? Here's what brown flowers are saying. Get a whiff of our perfume. It's stinky just the way you like it. This is true. Brown flowers reek like something dead and rotten. And flies need to lay their eggs on dead things so their maggot babies will have something to eat when they hatch. I know, so gross. But a brown flower doesn't help a mama at all. She gets drawn in by the stench, but there's no meat there, just a flower tricking a bug into doing the work for free. The flower gets pollen, but the fly gets nothing. The only rotten thing around here is the deal. Green flowers aren't talking to anyone. Are they shy? No. They don't talk to animals because they don't need help. Their pollen is carried by the wind. Plants with green flowers are just green all over because they don't need animals to notice them. Would you bother getting dressed up if you didn't need to? I know I wouldn't. Think about it. Do you get dressed on a Sunday morning and look in your best if you're not leaving the house? Same for the flowers. Do animals only go to flowers that are their favorite colors? No, but they usually do. For example, butterflies are drawn more to a flower's shape than its color. Butterflies like a steady platform to land on and tubes filled with nectar to sip with their long, curly tongues. Did you know that butterflies had curly tongues? I didn't. But even butterflies have favorites. White, purple, yellow, pink, red, and orange. That's a lot of favorites, don't you think? And I love this picture. I think it's gorgeous. It's been good chatting, but it's time for you to leave now. Go take a hike. I'm pretty busy. In case you haven't noticed, I'm making a new flower. It's going to be yellow with a nice roomy platform. I'm about done with it. But before you leave, do you want to guess who I'm getting ready to talk to next? There's a butterfly and there's a bee right there. And there's a little bit about pollination. If you want to learn a little bit more, I'm going to read it to you. But the book, the story part is ended. This is just a little bit additional information for those of you really interested in pollination and plants. So pollination is the way that plants make new seeds. This is how it works. To make a seed, a plant needs to combine pollen with an egg. Sometimes the pollen and the egg can be from the same plant, and that's called self-pollination. Usually they come from different plants of the same species, which is called cross-pollination. Okay, so step one, how does the pollen get to the eggs? In some types of plants, wind carries the pollen. For many other plants, an animal pollinator helps out. The animal carries the pollen from a stamen, the male part of the flower, to a pistil, the female part of the flower. The pistil holds the eggs inside. And then in step two, for pollination to work, the pollen needs to land on just the right spot, the stigma, which is the sticky top of the pistil. When the pollen lands perfectly, a tube grows up from the eggs, making a sort of slide for the pollen to travel down to meet the eggs, which are also called the ovules. Now the pollen joins with the eggs to make seeds. The male parts of the flower, the stamen, aren't needed anymore, so they fall off. The petals aren't needed anymore to attract the insects, so they fall off too. Step 3. The ovary grows bigger and bigger around the seeds. The ovary becomes the fruit with the seeds inside, ready to someday grow into a new plant. It could be an apple, a pumpkin, peas in their pod, peanuts in their shell, many others. Some of these aren't commonly called fruits, but they are. If a food has fruit in it, it is botanically a fruit. So peanuts, thus being fruit. Okay, and this is a little bit more information if you're still interested in learning more about this. Protecting our pollinators. Did you know that some insect pollinators are in trouble? This is a big problem because plants rely on these animals to carry pollen. Without pollination, plants can't make new seeds. And without seeds, new plants can't grow. Many people don't think about how important plants are. We actually need them to survive. Plants are our food and our shelter, and they even make the air that we breathe. Here are some things that you and your family can do to support the pollinators. First, 1, don't use chemicals that hurt insects on your lawn or garden. 2, plant a bee or butterfly garden so these animal pollinators have a new place to eat and live. And I know there's definitely a lot of fear on bees because they could sting us, but they're so important for our plants and vegetables and fruits and everything, flowers. 3, tell other people about this problem so they can help too. And for more tips, they have a pollinator partnership at pollinator.org. So again, this book is called Flower Talk, How Plants Use Color to Communicate. I hope you found it really interesting. I know it seems like sometimes nonfiction is not always the most interesting thing in the world, but I think this book did an amazing job, and the illustrations are beautiful. And also, wasn't this book funny? Have a great one, and thanks for reading with me.